What are we even watching?
Okay. An exploit was discovered in Yu-Gi-Oh! By Loom. Oh wait, you changed your name to just Loom, not Loom Yu-Gi-Oh! Times do be a-changin', huh?
2008, Breaking Bad had its first ever pilot
Let
episode.
me make my ass less big. Oh my god, I can't with you, bro. You make money, commission a profile pic. It's like $50, please. Please. Go on VGen.
Katy Perry was both hot and cold at the same time, and Mero was just gearing up
Loom making himself look ancient right now.
to commit some war crimes. You see, Mero was just about to attend his first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional, but for this event, he had a plan.
You can smell that room next to that the aircon is working overdrive, because I swear the convention rooms are never built to withstand people being actually in it.
The deck Mero cooked up for this tournament was called Self-Destruct Button Turbo. Self-Destruct Button is a card that is currently forbidden in the modern age, but at the time was perfectly legal because nobody really thought much of it. What this card does is while your life points are lower than your opponent's and the difference is 7,000 points or more, both players' life points become 0. So by simply combining this card with a bunch of other cards that reduce your own life points, such as Inspection or Wall of Revealing Light, you could turn every match into a draw. Now you might be wondering, why on earth would someone enter an event with the sole purpose of trying to create a draw? Especially considering a strategy like this only really works well if you go first, otherwise your opponent will have time to set up counterplays such as Solemn Judgment to negate the self-destruct button, or Cold Wave which prevents you setting any trap cards. Well, that is where the true genius of this strategy comes into play, as Mero had found a little bit of a loophole in the rules. It was round 4 of the event, and Mero
Sneaky.
had been paired up against a Gladiator Beast opponent, which was considered one of the strongest decks at the time. And not only that, but his opponent was most definitely considered a whale, which for those of you that don't know
A whale.
the term, basically means the guy had way too much disposable income. A secret rare Hera,
Fuck, we hate people with money, don't we, guys?
and an entire deck of foiled out
Shut up, I know. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
cards wherever they were available. His entire deck must have cost him easily around $1,000, whereas our protagonist
Damn, I'd be more impressed. But I've seen Magic decks, yeah.
deck only cost him maybe a couple McDonald's Big Macs. It was safe to say that he wasn't exactly considered the favourite in this matchup. The round begins, and both players roll a die, with the player rolling the higher amount, dictating who goes first. Mero wins the dice roll, all according to plan. Now remember this, as it'll become very important.
I will break your kneecaps, Tatsi, swear to God, one of these days. Whack! Whack! In Minecraft. Destroyer, you're worthless. Absolutely worthless. Pathetic. You are a small Big Mac in a land of quarter pounders. That is your life. Yeah, I'm thinking about the Big Mac because of that, yeah.
Important later on. Mero chose to go first, and proceeds to draw.
2004. Someone do inflation math right now.
And draw.
You literally asked to be called worthless, bro. You did it to yourself.
And draw. And draw. Until eventually he hits both an Inspection and a self-destruct button. He activates the Inspection, sets the button face down, along with 3 more face down stacked as bluffs, then he passes the turn. His opponent's turn begins, and he picks up a card, but the moment he entered the standby phase, Mero made his move, by declaring the Inspection. What Inspection does is allows you to randomly select one card in your opponent's hand, and look at it, at the cost of 500 life points. He does so, and immediately spots a Mystical Space Typhoon. At this moment, and I quote, "My butt locked up faster than a time lock vault in a bank." Because this meant his opponent had drawn a way to destroy the Inspection, since Mystical Space Typhoon could be used at any time to destroy.
Learn. You write scripts for this, right? Damn, you wrote this down? I'm like, oh.
A spell and trap card.
Oh, 1800,
so if his opponent
damn.
caught on to what was about to happen, he could have stopped it. But thankfully,
I believe you. I believe it was a quote.
he was a little bit clueless. Mero uses Inspection. His opponent pauses for a moment, looking incredibly confused, but just allows it anyway. Activates inspection again. And then again. And then again. At this point, the opponent just yells out to a judge across the room. The judge yells out, "What's the card?" And the opponent replies, "Inspection." The judge, without missing a beat, immediately responds without needing any further context, "He can use it as much as he wants." Apparently the judge had already read this ruling 3 days prior just by sheer coincidence. The opponent, now looking incredibly flustered and quite a bit irritated, asks to proceed the duel. Mero continues inspecting all the way down to 1,000 life points, at which point he flips the self-destruct button, nuking both players instantly. Draw. His opponent, whilst rolling his eyes, reluctantly
He's so angry. They're asking to be beaten down by Goose. No, I'm beating you guys down.
scoops up his cards, probably realising his mistake of holding on to that mystical space typhoon. At this point, the match had already been going on for 14 minutes. Game 2 is about to begin, so the opponent picks up the dice and rolls it again, presuming that because it was a tie, they
Loom starting on his new journey, world's first FTK draw, and he started a trend that would ruin Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever.
would need to re-roll the dice to decide who gets to go first. But
I really feel like Loom's voice is made for these kind of videos.
this is where Mero's true plan was revealed. He informs to his opponent this is actually not the case. In the case of a tie, the player who initially won the dice roll for the first game gets to decide again. His opponent, now looking even more visibly irritated and being quite vocal about it now, once again calls over the judge. And to Mero's surprise, the judge actually sided with the opponent. Mero is forced to appeal to the head judge, but initially, once again, sided with the opponent.
It's
Thankfully,
a
after
exploit was discovered in Yu-Gi-Oh! By Loom.
urging the judge to check the ruling once again on the UDE site, as he had checked it the night before to make sure, the judge realised his mistake, apologised, and with a rather sheepish grin on his face, rules in Mero's favour, and then says, "Have fun," adding an additional 5-minute time extension to the match due to his incorrect judgment taking up some time. It was at this moment that Mero watched all the emotion leave his opponent's face, before returning a moment later, even angrier than he was before. He knew what he was in for. For the next 7 games in a row, Mero would simply tie the match, each time proceeding to go first, never allowing his opponent a moment to actually play the game. It got to a point where his opponent pulled out his phone and started playing Sonic the Hedgehog to pass the time. This goes on for the full 40-minute round, before starting the 5-minute extension. His opponent attempts to plead with the judges to have the extension revoked, knowing Mero would actually have to side deck in his real win condition during the last 5 minutes in order to win the match. But of course, the judge just declines, allowing Mero to self-destruct once again and move into side decking for the final game. Right before the end of the 5 minutes, Mero had sided in 15 cards, a combination of burn cards that inflict damage to your opponent when they are used, and trap cards that make him immune to damage for a turn. Now, for those of you that don't know how the time rules worked in Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time, essentially, once the time limit for the match was reached,
These troll decks are things you only really see in Master Duel nowadays, or online. Most people wouldn't bother making decks for it.
both players are given 2 turns to try to win the series. But if no winner is decided, the player with the highest life points
Why the Luffy, mouse pad? Full of every butt.
is deemed
Trying
the
to tell us something there, Loom, huh?
victor.
Huh?
The game begins, and once again, Mero chose to go first, right as the time limit is reached, exactly as Mero had planned from the beginning. 4 turns remain to decide the game. He
Objectifying
started by
Luffy
activating
like
Goblin Thief to burn his opponent for 500 and gain
that.
500
Surprised you didn't use Goblin Thief's big butt here. Actually, why? Why'd I draw him like that?
before setting 1 card and passing the turn. 3 turns remain. His opponent, for the very first time in the entire match,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Has people in it that are homophobic? No, that's crazy. But really, they were mad about Luffy having his butt. That's crazy.
gets to play a card. He normal summons a Bastari, but is immediately met with a hallowed life barrier, which prevents Mero from taking any damage that turn. Reluctantly, his opponent just sets 2 cards and passes the turn back. 2 turns remain. Mero draws a couple of cards before setting
Why
one.
are you reporting the video? Luffy's butt scared me.
Trap card and a bunch of
Loom's community is the worst. I'm assuming Loom refuses to comment on this.
bluffs before passing back. 1 turn remains. Immediately as soon as his opponent's turn began, Mero activates Rainbow Life, which once again prevents him from taking any damage.
This is the real thing that got the homophobes upset. The rainbow.
That turn. His opponent observes his set cards before turning to the judge, but before he can even ask the question, the judge states he will lose unless he can change the life points somehow. This definitely didn't leave him very pleased. He shoved all his cards to the side, stood up, and screamed, "You just wasted 40 minutes with a bitch deck." To which Mero replied, "Actually, it was 53 minutes." Mero's plan had well and truly succeeded. And that is where today's tale ends. Shoutouts to Mero for posting this story online all the way back in 2011. I doubt he'll ever see this, but it just seemed like too good a story for me not to make into a video.
Oh my god. So he literally flipped the table. That's funny as fuck.
If you enjoyed this and would like to see more videos just like this one, make sure to let me know down below, as I'm sure there are plenty of forgotten tales out there just begging to be told. Thank you all for watching and remember to subscribe. I hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Yeah, I would say, okay. I haven't fully seen them all because, you know, I play mainly online stuff and while still even being in the community, I have seen a little bit of this kind of behavior. I would say luckily there's a lot of nice people in Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah.
In a world of neon lights, till the body shines so bright, clumsy hot flood holds her crown, busting sassy folks she's found. Ears perk up a purple sight, with a smile she takes the fight. Buns and balls won't break her stride, sharing heart she won't hide.